Welcome to AgCast, the podcast where we dig into the heart of agriculture. Whether you're knee-deep in the field or just ag curious, this show is your go-to for everything farming, ranching, and rural living. Each episode, we bring you real stories, expert insights, and the latest updates from the world of agriculture, from cutting-edge technology and sustainable practices to livestock care and crop management. AgCast covers it all, so grab your boots and tune in as we grow knowledge one episode at a time. Now we're on to announcements with Josh.
On April 27th, we'll have a senior trip parent meeting. On the same day, we'll have senior dinner at the Melbourne Methodist Church. On April 28th, high school baseball will have a game versus Martin Valley at home. On the 29th, high school softball will be at Crest. Stop it. On April 30th, we have an 8th grade class field trip to Linden State Bank. On the same day, we'll have a senior trip going to Myrtle Beach. On May 1st, junior high track will be at Burlingame. On the same day, we'll have junior high collaboration, and there will be a high school baseball and softball game versus Opie Hartford. That will be senior night. On May 2nd, high school track will be at Madison. That is all the announcements. Now on to FFA updates.
Moving on from announcements, we have had a good couple of weeks in the FFA, placing good in competitions and getting ready for our chapter banquet. On April 16th, we sent a livestock judging team and a food science team to compete. On April 16th, we sent a livestock judging team and a food science team to compete at Wabaunsee. Our livestock judging team took second place overall, with Kaylin Todd placing 9th and Scotty Ingram placing 5th. Our food science team took third place overall, with our top placer being Kate Patterson placing 13th overall. Our students have improved tremendously as the year has gone on. This improvement should be shown at the state competitions, where hopefully we can get some hardware to bring back. We're sending 2 teams to the state competition. The Ag Communications team will compete on May 5th. The team is Tatum, Ella, Landon, and Maddie. The next day, a food science team will attend, and the contestants are Kate, Tatum, Ella, and Maddie. To finish up the month of April, we had the end of the year Royals trip yesterday, the 24th. To finish up the month of April, we had the end of the year Royals trip yesterday on the 24th, and our annual chapter banquet will be tomorrow, where we celebrate our accomplishments and give out awards and find out who the 2025-2026 chapter officer team is. That's all our FFA updates. Once we come back from a commercial, we'll have some upcoming weather with Trey.
Out here in Melbourne, Kansas, tradition runs deep, and so does the quality. At Litch Farms, they grow more than just crops. Litch Farm continues to every day to grow family, community, and pride. Litch Farms has been in the community for generations. They always get the job done, no matter what happens. The Litch family is amazing on the farm, in the community, and supporting everybody, no matter what.
On Monday 28th, we have a high of 81 and a low of 61. Mostly cloudy and windy that day. And we have a south wind of 22 miles an hour. On Tuesday 29th, we have a high of 68 and a low of 52. It's supposed to be partly cloudy. And we have a northwest wind of 12 miles an hour. On Wednesday the 30th, we got a high of 68 and a low of 54. We got 33% chance of precipitations in the afternoon hours and an east wind of 9 miles an hour. On Thursday, the 1st, we got a high of 72 and a low of 52, and we have morning showers with a 34% chance of precipitation and a northwest wind of 10 miles an hour. On Friday, the 2nd, we have a high of 74 and a low of 51. Mostly sunny, and a north wind of 9 miles an hour.
Suddenly.
That's all for your weather. And now I'm gonna crack a joke, boys. What did the lightning bolt say to the other lightning bolt?
What?
You're shocking. Oh.
I got it.
Because lightning
All right, that's
shocks.
all for your weather. Thank you for joining us. Next is Josh's
interview. Maybe.
Dalton's interview.
So today on sports, we haven't had much, but we will get into that now. On April 14th, we had some home baseball and softball games against Linden. Both teams split on the night, making the boys' record 5-7 and the girls' record 2-8. On April 15th, we had some home baseball games against Northern Heights, and that was our first league game of the season. We swept the night, putting our record to 7-7 and 2-0 in league play, giving us the number 1 spot in the league. That same night, the girls played Pleasant Ridge instead of Northern Heights and split on the night, making their record 3-9. We've had multiple scheduled games lately, but they have all got postponed because of weather, or when we were scheduled to play Marmaton Valley, they didn't have enough players. Those were all canceled, but up until Friday the 25th, the girls played Burlingame and sadly lost both games, making their record 3-11. That's all for sports. Now on to Dalton with an interview.
Today, for my interview, I'm talking to Chase Vogler about wildfires and his time on the Melbourne Fire Department. Chase, can you state your age
I am 16 years old,
and your class?
sophomore.
Okay. Can you tell me how you got into the Melbourne Fire Department? Like, what it's about?
Well, I got into the Melbourne Fire Department while having family members in the department first. So it was my dad, then Colby, then Kyla, and my mom was originally in it, but she then quit after a while.
Okay, and can you tell me what you do with the fires? Like, what you do for the Melbourne Fire Department?
Well, at the department, I help on grass fires and I help on house fires sometimes. I can't really go into house fires though.
So, how often do you say these like at this time of the year we have a lot of burning of the pastures? How often do you think you say that happens? Like an uncontrolled one happens?
Well, it really depends because it depends on the wind, it depends on humidity. But as of right now, we haven't gotten rarely anything. But if you asked me a few weeks ago, we were stormed with uncontrolled grass fires.
Yeah, I remember that was that 1 week,
Mhm.
and it was super bad. It was super windy, and
Smoky.
people wanted to burn, and yeah, that was a catastrophe.
Yep.
But do you say technology has helped with like not having as many out of control grass fires?
Like, what do you mean
Like
help with?
like new technologies that like make sure like say maps that you know what you want to burn, or I don't know,
I would
technologies to put like control fires.
I would say yes.
Okay.
And technology has also helped out the department because on our phone we have this app called I Am Responding, and that tells us where to go to on.
Makes it more efficient,
Yeah.
so you can get there faster. So what about like the technology in like the actual fire, like the water hoses, like has there, like I know not that long ago you guys got a new vehicle, right? A little Jeep.
No, we've had that Jeep for a while.
Oh.
So, unfortunately, our vehicle at Melbourne, it crashed during a call and had our chief out of commission for a while because it got totaled. So we have the Jeep over here now as a command unit.
Okay. Do you guys have like what do you call those, the long fire trucks?
The engine?
Is that what they're called?
Yeah. I mean, we have long fire trucks. I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
Just I didn't know what.
So we have the engine, we have grass fire trucks, and
Okay.
we have the tanker. Then, of course, we have the ambulance. But
Yeah, right. And does does like the EMS, does that go hand in hand with the fire like department?
yes.
Okay.
So sometimes when there is a house fire, we're going to need EMS because there could be people injured.
Yeah.
But we also, as EMS, they can also run separately because we also get med calls here.
Yeah. And you're not a part of the EMS team?
No, I cannot be a part of it until I am not a minor.
Which is 18?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what you plan on going into for your future
Yes.
career, right?
I want to be an EMT, and
Yeah.
paramedic.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think that's all for this interview. And next, I'm going on to your dad
Mm-hmm.
for more insight and more information.
You can ask him more about like that EMS type stuff because he is a EMT.
Yep.
So he'll be able to answer that more, and he has a lot more experience than I do. So you can ask him questions about that. He has experience pulling meters, which is a cool process, but it could also be very dangerous. So you can ask him about that.
Yep. I will. All right. Thank you, Chase, and I'll see you guys on the next interview.
All right.
Hello, today I am interviewing Mr. Vogler as he partakes in the Melbourne Fire Department and is EMT for the Melbourne Fire Department.
Yes, I'm a first responder and a volunteer firefighter.
All right, Mr. Vogler, what made you want to become like an EMT?
Well, I joined the fire department to start with and saw that the med calls were going out and going to help people, and that's what I wanted to do. So I decided to take a 7-month course after work and some Saturdays to become an EMT so I could help the community better.
Yeah, that's good. And this year, how many has it been like a pretty calm? It's been a pretty good year. I mean, I know there was that 1 week where it was really windy and wildfires were getting out of control, right?
Grass season so far has been pretty slow. It's not like it was years past. They created a burn permit.
Yeah.
So before, people actually used to just go light matches and then go inside. Now they actually have to call it in and be prepared.
And do you think like the burn bans, like when did burn bans become like a thing?
Probably 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay. And those, ever since that kind of like law came in, you think it's been a lot calmer?
Yes, there's been less fires that we've had to go put out.
Mm-hmm. And I remember that, what was it, 5 years ago? That I don't know how long ago that was, but that bridge burned down over that way.
Yeah, over by Olivet, yes.
Yeah, that was not a good fire.
That was an all-nighter.
Yeah, I bet. Mr. Vogel, what does a normal fire call look like?
Well, it depends. Is it a grass fire or is it a structure fire?
We'll go grass fire.
Grass fire, normally you go out and there's acres on fire. You always fight the fire from the black, which is the area that's already burnt. You don't want to have your trucks, in the tall grass that can get burned up because that's happened before. And typically they're just not typical.
Yeah.
It's anything can happen. You got to go out there. You got to pay attention to what you're doing so nobody gets hurt. Everybody comes back safe.
Mm-hmm.
They just put water on it till it's out.
What do you say the chances a wildfire or a grass fire turned into a wildfire or a structural fire?
Well, it can happen. It depends on who started the fire, where it was started, if there's any structures that are around the acres that are being burnt, and if the wind all of a sudden decides to kick up 60, 70 miles an hour, then it's hard to put out. Over quite a few years ago, there was a house that almost caught on fire, and we ended up setting a fire. It's called backburning.
Yeah.
And it went through the trees, and the flames were probably 100 feet in the air. But we burned it that way so it would clean up some of the debris that was underneath, and it was back by the lake, so it would burn to the lake.
Yeah, and using that, when you guys go out to a field, and say there's a river by it, do you guys pump water out of the river in case you run out, or how does that work?
We can draft from the river, but typically we just go find a hydrant.
Okay. And is there a hydrant law in Kansas?
No, I don't believe there's a hydrant law, but the more hydrants you have in town, the lower your house insurance is going to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Well, I think that's it for this episode. For this interview. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. This week we will have a new exclusive part featuring Mr. Railsback. For this part, I'll be discussing with Mr. Railsback about what has been going on in the FFA So, Mr. Elsbeck, what has the FFA been doing these past few weeks?
Well, it seems like the springtime's always busy with different school activities. With FFA, we've had lots of different competitions. We've had speech competition where we did really good. We had some individuals place really high. We've also had some Aggie Days where we've competed in livestock judging and food science and milk quality and products competitions where overall we've done really good. So it's been busy, but it's been a good spring so far.
Would you consider yourself proud of the children on how they are doing?
You know, overall, I thought we've done a really good job. We've had some individuals place really high. We've had some teams place in the top 5 and bring home some hardware. So overall, you know, pretty proud, especially considering a little 1A school competing against 5 and 6A schools. We've been able to do well and hold our own. So overall, that's been a pleasant surprise for this year and has shown some growth from last year.
Very nice. So, overall, on the schedule, I see that you have a banquet coming up. Could you tell us something about that banquet?
So every year, our chapter tries to host an awards banquet. This is usually in the springtime, and it's a time to install new officers for the coming year and congratulate all of our members on a job well done. So that way parents and supporters and people of the community and the school board can come and share those successes with us. So we treat them to a meal, and we're going to have our banquet on Saturday, April 26th at 3 p.m. at the community center, where our members will put on a program and we'll install the new officers and then hand out all of our individual awards for the year.
So, this week, I assume you must have been really busy preparing for the banquet. So, what have some members been doing to prepare for the banquet?
So luckily, I brought most of our officers back from last year, so they had an idea of what we're supposed to do. But some things that we have to do ahead of time is, book the community center, order supplies like some of our plaques and awards that we hand out. We have to get new officer pins for the new officers for the new school year. And then members have been printing out certificates and signing those and making sure everything's organized, putting the script together for our officers to follow to make sure that we know what's happening. So there's a lot of work that goes into it. Luckily, we had some of those things already kind of hammered out from last year, so it was easy to get those going and get those things done.
So, you mentioned installing new officers. What is the process of the people that applied for an office position? What do they have to go through?
So for every year we install new officers. So our typical 6 offices would be president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, reporter, and sentinel. We also have some other offices that they can apply for if we think that they deserve an office or that they would be helpful. So members have to fill out an application. That's just a few questions about why they want to be an officer and what they bring to the table as far as leadership qualities and ideas that they can help the FFA chapter. After that, they have to go through an interview process where I bring in individuals from outside the school to interview them to kind of get a feel for the qualities that they have that would help us. And then if it's still close, then we'll have a chapter vote on what office that they think those members deserve. So, we kind of take it as a big deal. Being an officer in the FFA is a big responsibility. And for next year, it's the only student organization that we'll have at Marizine Valley. So it's an opportunity for those kids to develop leadership qualities that they can possess for the rest of their life.
Do you think officer interviews went really well for everybody?
I think overall, it went really good. We had 10 quality applicants this year. And so they came in last Friday on Good Friday and interviewed with some members of the community and then some ag teachers from different parts of the state. Overall, they were pleased with the quality of applicants that we had, which I thought was good. And, I think that we'll have a strong officer team for next year.
So everybody, we hope to see you supporting all your local FFA members through the rewarding accomplishments this year at the banquet. Remember, this will be at 3 p.m. at the Melbourne Community Center on April 26th. Thank you.
Looking for the heart of Kansas farm life? Come on down to Lacey Farms, where tradition meets top quality produce and friendly faces greet you at every turn. Located right off of Highway K31 in Melbourne, Kansas, Lacey Farms is your local family-run farm offering the freshest goods straight from our fields to your family's tables. Whether you're picking up farm-fresh eggs, locally raised beef, or just stopping in for a good old-fashioned Kansas hello, you feel right at home. Come see why folks all over the region trust Lacey Farms for quality, integrity, and that down-home charm that you can't find anywhere else. Give us a call at 785-549-3417 or swing by 32702 Highway K31 in Melbourne, Kansas. Lacey Farms, rooted in land, grown with care.
Daily facts.
With the boys.
A shrimp heart is in its head.
Oh, yeah.
If you sneeze too hard, you can fracture a rib.
Hooked.
Wearing headphones for just an hour could increase the bacteria in your ear by 700 times. Wearing headphones for just an hour could increase the bacteria in your ear by 700 times.
The ancient Romans used to drop a piece of toast into their wine for good health. That's why we call it a toast. Most people fall asleep in 7 minutes. An ostrich's eye is bigger than its brain.
Say what?
The moon has earthquakes.
The moon has moonquakes.
No, Trey, just get them search.
And now our nuke segment, Tongue Twister of the Day!
Six hits, Nick. Six.
Okay.
Do that.
Alright.
Six hits, Nick. Six slick breaks with pigs and sticks.
Hey!
Let's go. Today for our ag topic, our topic is wildfires and grass fires across Kansas. Today I'll be discussing with my boys over here. I got Josh Lupano, Trey Walker, and Landon Reed.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
Let's go.
Hey. I know what you're doing.
Alright. So what do you guys know about grass fires or wildfires in Kansas right now?
Well, I know, like, when we went to Chase County for our game, they were burning all that hillside, that country farmland, because they got, like, a certain type of grass that needs to be, like, burnt and regrow, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Like it releases the seeds for the next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of, like, sometimes there's, like, black smoke in the air.
Mhm.
And then, like, at Chase County when we were playing, the smoke was, like,
In the
it looked foggy on the field.
Yeah, it just
Yeah,
covered
Yeah,
all. It covered all
it was
area.
kind of hard to breathe sometimes.
It,
yeah.
look, it, yeah, that's facts.
Yeah. Now getting away from wildfires, grass fires. Let's talk about wildfires in Kansas. Have you guys heard about any?
Isn't the whole point of this to be
It's
able
just
to talk
fires
about-
in general.
I'm just asking a question about wildfires. Have you guys known anything about like wildfires in Kansas this year?
I
Like an uncontrolled grass fire or anything like that's not.
well,
controlled?
I mean, like, I haven't, like, seen any, or, I mean, I might have seen some, like, but you just don't know if it's uncontrolled.
Right. Like remember that there was one week where it was really windy, and people were trying to burn for some reason, and like
Yeah.
grass fires
Oh,
quickly got to
yeah.
wildfires and uncontrolled. Yeah. What do you guys like? What's your guys' thoughts? What's the leading cause of wildfires in not in Kansas but like in the country?
Probably. What do you mean by that? Like, exactly.
Like
Wait,
what do you think the leading cause of like wildfires?
like,
to cause them?
like wind,
Yeah.
like windy weather, maybe?
Like,
Yeah. I don't
someone
know.
doing something, yeah.
Like,
What?
Yeah.
like
Wait,
I don't
hold
know.
on. How would you like?
Just like
Well, I think it'd be like man-made. Like if someone accidentally like lit a cigarette and just dropped it or something like that.
And then it's like
Matches.
windy,
Yeah.
really
like
windy
in
that day.
like
in California.
dry weather.
Oh, where everything's dry and it's
In
just
California,
like,
and like they'll go camping and they'll leave a fire they'll just leave a fire going and they'll leave.
Yeah, and it just like
Or arson.
Are there any other like ways to start wildfires?
Yeah, like so it says right here humans cause like nearly 90% of wildfires in the United States. But I mean it can also be through like equipment malfunctions and like or like burning debris, like say like a like a pizza.
Okay.
Lightning strikes can also cause wildfires, like striking this tree.
like
striking
yeah,
trees
it can
and
like
causing fire.
strike a tree and then like it could like break.
Have you guys ever thought about being firefighters?
Not really. Like, wait.
Like as a last resort, maybe.
Yeah,
Or like,
no.
Like what Chase does with his. I have never really thought about being a firefighter. Maybe volunteer if I didn't have any work to do or something for the city, like Chase does with his junior firefighter club. I'd probably try to be a little bit more involved. What did I leave off? I think if I were to do it, I would try to be as involved as possible, though. Like Chase, he's kind of just a part of it, But
facts.
I feel like if I was gonna take up one of the spots, that if they were to if I were to get called out to like a wildfire or a grass fire or something that got out of hand, I feel like I'd try to help instead of maybe just being there. Like I'd actually try to do my job a little bit.
Yeah.
Jeez. Well,
Damn, I didn't know we were just dissing.
all right, but Josh, have you ever thought about it?
Not really. I mean, I really didn't think about being a firefighter. It's not really one of my top career choices I want to do. What about you, Trey?
A firefighter at all? Because like when I was younger, I always wanted to be a cop, but like just like saving people from fires just like never crossed my mind when I was younger.
Right. Okay. So here it says that like the census of firefighters in January 2025 was at 1,207,800.
That in the world? I mean,
Yeah.
in United States?
Yeah,
Or like what?
in the United States.
1,800,000 what?
That's how many firefighters
Oh,
are.
firefighters.
Yeah.
I
Gotcha,
thought
my
I
bad.
thought you were talking about like
Fires.
fires, and I was like, jeez.
No.
so-
That's a lot of fires.
I know. So would you say we would like need more? 'Cause I don't
When I say you need more, I mean you could always use more.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like you can't have too many.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think that's a job you can have too many in because there's always someone or something in need. Even if it's not fires, they help with other things. Like,
yeah.
Saving cats out of the trees.
And so half of them, like not half of them, but a lot of them are like EMT certified and they can go on calls.
yeah, like Eric is.
Yeah.
Who we interviewed earlier in this episode.
And yeah, he had a lot
Yeah.
of really good information.
It kind of ties in with this ag topic.
And right here it says in 2024, there was a total of 64,897 wildland fires.
Wild what fire?
Wild land fires.
Wildland.
Oh, okay, my bad. My bad.
trees.
Yeah, and like we're just like grass, like it just got out of control and just burned up. I don't know a lot.
Like all that stuff that happened up in
and that's an
California.
increase. Yeah, and that's I'm pretty sure isn't that like the biggest state wildfires happening?
I think
Yeah,
so.
I feel like it happens like every year. I feel like you hear about
it's
it every
very
year.
dry
Yeah.
out there. They get lots of drought spots.
Yeah.
What are like ways that they fight the fires? Like if there's so big fires, how do
Well,
they do it?
I mean, we all know like water.
Yeah, but like
But don't
They
they, like
can't-
make a
like
giant?
there's no fire hydrants out there in the forest. So
Well,
how do they
yeah.
get
They're
how do they
like,
get
"Ooh,
the
fire
water
with
there?
fire.
Well, if they're close enough to like the sea, like in California, when they're close enough to like the sea, they would get like Navy like or Air Force, and they get like planes. They fly it.
They also use like control fires. So like they burn the edges. So it's like it stops the fire from going farther, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Like-
just like
So like they're fighting fire.
with fire.
With fire.
Hey,
That's fire.
good joke. And how many acres do you think have just been burned up by wildfires?
How many? Probably like up in the millions.
No,
There
I
has
say
to
up in
be.
the billions.
I don't think so.
No, up in the millions. It has to be in the millions.
I don't know.
And so it says right here in 2023, because I don't know if we have the 2024 like calculations yet, but in 2023 it says it's burned a total of 2.7 million acres. So not quite to $1 billion.
Not even close to $1 billion.
Not even
I mean, I
close.
thought
I'm just thinking real fast.
No,
Just leave
no,
the
yeah,
recording
yeah,
so
I
you
got
don't have
you.
to start over. Like, how could I say? Oh, so what are some like important tips or like what you should know to be like safer or to stop a wildfire from happening if you're doing like a controlled burn?
What?
Some tips like, always be watching it. Don't leave if it's still going.
Get some tips.
It's recording.
Some tips. Some tips would be like, man, I don't even know. Like,
wait it out. So like always keep watch if it's like a red flag warning. So like when not to burn and when to burn, so you don't accidentally start a wildfire.
Yeah. Trey?
honestly, I have no idea. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, so that wraps up the ag topic, and now we're on to the closing.
Just say we'll wrap things up with Maddie.
Well, we'll wrap things up with Maddie now on the closing. Peace.
Peace.
That's a wrap for this episode of AgCast, your go-to spot for all things agriculture and school-related. Thank you to Litch Farms and Lacey Farms for being a part of the commercials. Also, a big shout out to our interviewers. If you found value in today's conversation, make sure to stay tuned for our next episode of AgCast. You can find our account on Spotify, Facebook, or YouTube. Make sure to stay tuned and stay involved.